Hello YouTube fans, it's your boy Brad here with another video. Today we're going to be looking at a neat project that I did with building a meter box for my generator cord that hooks up to my house. I got this idea from Gavin's garage. There's a video linked below to show you how this build goes about, but there's some real differences that I did on this build versus what he did, which I decided to build the box directly onto my power cord instead of making a separate hookups where you have to hook these ends in and then you have the box as a separate unit. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I did that was differently from what he did and how it turned out. First, let's look at the power cord. This is a 30 amp power cord, 4 pins. This end hooks into the generator. This end hooks into my house. This is a 10-foot cord. Let me also mention all the things that I used here will be in the description below in case you want to buy any of these things. But first, let me give you the warning. I am not an electrician by any means. I am a handy type person that likes to fiddle around with stuff. So if you decide to do this, I am not responsible for any fires, injuries, electrocutions, or anything else you may suffer going through this process or utilizing this equipment. So that is my disclaimer. Do this at your own risk. So, got that out the way. Again, all of the products used here will be in the description. All of it came from Amazon. First, again, please watch Gavin's garage. Watch his video on this build is what I followed. But again, I made some changes. I used a smaller box than he used because he was building a 50 amp meter for a 50 amp cord. This is a 10 gauge. I think the 50 amp cord might be like an 8 gauge, so it's a bigger cord. He used a bigger box, and he just did it a little different. The way I went about this is first getting the box, got your equipment. You need to make your cutouts. Here is stick it here, a little picture of me cutting out. I use my Dremel to cut out the slots. You make sure you want to measure them. These do have lips on them. There is a lip, so you want to cut it smaller than the outside circumference of these boxes. They will slot in. So I cut both of those out, and there's a little picture there with my Dremel with a little cutting disc that I had from Harbor Freight. For years I've had these little diamond cutting discs. I'm not sure what they actually are, diamond, I'm not sure what they were called, and they did a good job. Whatever you have, you can use to cut out the holes for your boxes. Once you get your holes cut out, then the next thing you want to do is cut out a section in your power cord. Again, this cord is not cut into pieces. So right here is a picture of I slotted a section of my power cord that fits inside of here. It's inside of here where the power cord is all one piece. There's no cut through any of the cords themselves. It is all one piece. So probably that much so that the cord would be able to lock in and go inside and there's no gap. So cut that off. There was a powder. Don't know what type powder this was, but when I open this up, there's this white powder. I'm thinking maybe it's some kind of flame retardant. I don't know what it was, but I had to make sure to vacuum that up, and I used some wipes and washed my hands to get the powder off of my hands and stuff. Once you do that, then you line your cord up with your box. Again, I did not cut through this box, so you see there's a little mark there, and there probably still is with a little mark on this end. And then I got my Dremel. Show a picture right here. I used a small drum disc on my Dremel to just a little by little Dremel this down a bit into the bottom piece. Again, if you look at his video, his meters are on the lid. I decided to put mine on the back. That way, again, I didn't have to cut the cord. I can use the lid as a compression to hold the meter in place. So my meters are on the bottom, or per se the back of the box. Dremel it down. You don't want to go all the way down. You want to leave some meat there, if you can see that. All the way down, because you want it to come up. Then I used another little picture here. My Dremel, as I put your cord on there, put it in the slots. Get your cord in the slots. Set your lid on top. Try to get it as lined up as you can. And then mark the center here where you want to start your dremeling out a little bit of this lip. A little bit at a time. And I just say that over and over again. Just do it a little at a time. And you might want to mark the end. I had a plus here and a plus here. That way I knew that this end was on this side. And I only did one side at a time. I messed with this side until I got it dremeled down enough. Not that the box went all the way together, but I could squeeze it, and then that way I could screw my screws in and tighten them down, and that would hold the cord in place without any glue or anything. Then I worked on this end, did the same thing, just a little bit at a time, just a little at a time, until you can kind of squeeze the box. It might not go all the way together, but you want to make sure that you leave enough meat, right, that when you put your screws in, that you have to kind of push it down and then screw your screws in and lock it all together. Once you get that done, now you have it all in one piece. Now, the last part of this, you push this out the way, is the wiring part. Look at his video, and he shows you how to wire the meters in. You're going to need some separate wire, a piece of extension cord. It doesn't really need to be that thick. He used a much thinner wire than I did, so find you some wires because you have to run power. These meters do not come with the power, any wire for you to hook them up to power. They don't, like I said, again, they don't need any thick wires. You can use something that's pretty thin. You have to figure out what you have around the home. I had a extension cord that I had cut off of some item, but it was a thinner extension cord. It's a 110 cord, and I always cut those off things that don't work anymore, and I put them in my junk box of stuff, and so that's what I used. Again, follow his instructions on how to wire it. Now, here's the difference on his instructions on how to wire this. In his feed of people commenting who were probably electricians, they had a little bit more electrical knowledge than Gavin did. He had grounded the meters, the power to the meters, to the green ground wire. This is a 4 wires inside of here. There's again four prongs on this thing. So it's 4 cords. Black, white, green, and yellow. The green is ground. He hooked it to the green. You don't want to go to green. You want to go to neutral, which is the white wire. When you hook both of these to ground, you want to ground them on the white wire. Another thing he said was to solder them on the wire. I tried soldering one wire, and it was turning into a complete mess. So My soldering skills aren't all that, especially when it comes to really thick wires. And I just ended up cutting back on the wire pretty big, long, and I would twist the wire and I would wrap it around almost a couple times and loop it over and make it as tight as I could, and I taped it all down really well. Not with one hand as he did. I used both hands, and I made sure to tape the wires onto the core wires in here very tightly. But again, make sure to go to the neutral. It'll work on the ground, but you really want to go to the neutral. And I'll tell you why you want to go to neutral. If you have a generator that has a floating neutral, you have bonded neutral, floating neutral. I put a switch on my generator that I can switch it back and forth between bonded and floating neutral. If you do floating neutral and you hook it to the ground wire in this, which is the green one, it won't power. You got to be on the neutral wire, which is the white wire. I can't emphasize that enough, on the neutral wire. But guys, hopefully I didn't miss anything here. That's how I built this, right onto the cord. I have not seen another video online with someone building the meter right onto the cord. Now I can hook this part right to my house, and I can see how many watts that my generator is pulling just by glancing outside the door. My generator is 7,000 running watts, and you can guess. You can turn on lights and you turn on this. It will not run my AC unit. I already know that, but it's a good thing to know exactly where you are in your power consumption in case you having to hook your generator to your house. You know exactly where your power consumption is, on what else you can turn on, what else you can do, type stuff. So there's the build. My next video, guys, will be showing how this works hooked up to my generator. Please come back for that. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see on this channel, please hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and you guys have a blessed day.